Sweetwater man arrested for a deadly hit and run out of jail tonight.
Plus, time is running out for several dogs at the Anson Animal Shelter. How you can help. The news starts in 60 seconds.
Suddenlink is taking Black Friday to the next level because price for life insurance.
This is KTexas News at 10.
New tonight at 10, a drug bust in Stevens County lands 3 people behind bars. Thanks for watching KTexas News at 10. I'm Will Jensen.
And I'm Veronica Soto. The arrest happened over the course of 2 days. On Friday, Stevens County Sheriff's deputies arrested 28-year-old Kellen Wimberly. Then on Saturday, Kellen's wife, 28-year-old Cheyenne Wimberly, along with 51-year-old Timothy Sam Mayberry, were arrested. Between the three, 27.5 grams of meth were seized. The sheriff's office says more arrests are expected in connection to this case. As of tonight, Kellen bonded out of jail.
The Sweetwater man, arrested after a deadly hit and run in September, has been released from the Nolan County Jail on a reduced bond. According to officials at the Nolan County Jail, 28-year-old David Keller posted a $20,000 bond on Saturday. Keller's original bond was set at $50,000. He was charged with accident involving death after allegedly hitting Fabian Torres with his truck and leaving the scene. TxDOT workers found Torres's body in a ditch on August 19th near I-20 and Arizona Street. According to family members, Torres was walking home after visiting his father and grandmother at a nursing home.
Well, we're looking at strong winds coming in for Tuesday, so tomorrow is going to be a weather alert day because of strong winds, maybe gusting as high as 40 miles per hour in the afternoon. This evening, well, we've been tracking showers passing mainly to our south. It's going to be a warm and windy Tuesday, and then rain is expected to really set up shop over much of our area as we get into Wednesday night and for much of Thanksgiving Day. Currently, we're tracking measurable rainfall passing mainly to our south at around Interstate 10, and temperatures have cooled back in the 50s across our northern areas. Still some warm temperatures down south. Looking at your forecast, well, it's going to be down around 54 tomorrow morning on your way to work and school in Abilene. But look at those winds picking up to around 30 miles per hour sustained in the afternoon. Gusts could be as high as 45 on occasion tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures, yeah, they're still going to be warm around 76. But cold air comes in tomorrow night. We'll talk about that and those rain chances coming up.
Thank you, Mark. New at 10, San Angelo police warning the public about a potential phone scam. They say if you get a call from someone claiming to be raising money for the San Angelo Police Department, it's a scam, and police say you should hang up, then block that number.
On social media, a lot of people talking about this next story. In Anson, dogs at the Anson Animal Shelter will be euthanized at the end of the week if they're not adopted out.
Right, time running out for several dogs there. City officials now trying everything they can to find them homes. KTexas reporter John Rapolo has more.
Anson Police Chief Jack Thompson is having to make some very difficult decisions. He gave us a tour of the Anson Animal Shelter that needs to be empty by Friday.
So with the time run out, we don't have a choice, but Friday we'll have to put them down. 7
dogs have just a few days to live. The shelter is run by one animal control officer who's resigning at the end of the week.
So we don't want a bunch of animals here that can't take care of while there's nobody here to care for them.
But some animal advocates disagree. They think the city should keep the dogs while they find a new animal control officer.
It takes very little to feed them until they can find another animal control officer.
Is this harsh?
This is very harsh.
Since word got out on social media about what's happening here at the Anson Animal Shelter, several people have come forward, including shelters across the state that want to help out. The city of Anson began posting on Facebook about the dogs needing new homes last week. An anonymous Good Samaritan has come forward and offered to pay for all of the dogs' adoption fees.
Well, we can make a positive out of this.
And if you want to adopt one of those dogs at the Anson Animal Shelter, you can call Anson City Hall at the number there on your screen, hoping to find some homes for those dogs.
Yeah. Well, Abilene police right now are tweeting that there is a power outage in North Abilene. A semi-truck has pulled power lines down in the 3000 block of Pine Street. We'll have more information for you when we come back after this break. But still ahead here on KTexas News at 10.
I'm Christine Frizzell on Capitol Hill with an impeachment inquiry timeline. I'll lay out the next steps and tell you why there could be much more to come.
I'm Evan Nimick. Once again, the Cisco Lobos are one of the last area teams left in the football playoffs. Coming up, we'll look at one of the secrets to the Lobos' continued success later in sports.
Getting the facts right and alerting you to weather danger. You're watching KTEX's News at 10 with Veronica Soto, Will Jensen, Mark Rowlett, and Evan Nimick.
So, Josh, you going for our Drive Safe and Safe discount?
Yep. Tech Roofing. If you have more information about any story you've seen on KTEX's Getting the Facts Right.
Tonight, lawmakers are back in their districts for the Thanksgiving holiday following 2 long weeks on Capitol Hill, the House impeachment inquiry against President Donald Trump. So what's next? As Sinclair National correspondent Christine Frizzell tells us, this process may be moving rapidly, but it's far from over.
The quiet on Capitol Hill, a veil of sorts for what's going on behind the scenes.
While it may look like lights out in Congress, there's a lot of midnight oil being burned.
Do you swear?
Committee members and staffers now drafting a report based on information gathered from 12 witnesses over the last 2 weeks of public hearings.
We have to decide what does it mean, and once we conclude our investigation, if we decide that it means that the president should be held accountable.
The House Intelligence Committee still considering the possibility there could be more.
We are going to continue to pursue
even after
the documents
handed in the report. You're going to
continue? Oh yes, the investigation isn't going to end.
Other potential witnesses include Lev Parnas, the Ukrainian-American business associate of Rudy Giuliani. His lawyer said in a tweet he's got firsthand information that is important to our nation. And former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who has so far declined to appear. The next chapter likely includes public hearings beginning as soon as next week and a vote held by the House Judiciary Committee. Then a vote by the full House on whether to impeach the president, possibly before Christmas, followed by a trial in the Senate early next year. There are some mixed reviews in terms of the way the process is playing out here on Capitol Hill, with some saying it's moving far too fast and others raising concerns the American public could become fatigued if it drags out too long.
I do think Democrats need to be wary of whether they are selling this too much, whether they are convincing the American public of a point that many of them are already sold on.
But he says Democrats have also laid out an airtight case, with many Republicans now shifting their argument, choosing to defend the president's actions rather than deny them. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzell.
We want to show you a tweet that the Abilene Police Department has put out. It's an advisory telling about a power outage for a part of North Abilene. They say a semi-truck pulled power lines down, this in the 3000 block of Pine Street. They say crews working to restore power there. They say could take 3 to 4 hours.
Well, it's a good thing it's not a hot night, right?
Yes, don't need that
Feeling
AC
considerably
tonight.
cooler.
Yeah, and you're probably wanting to turn on the heater, so let's hope they get the power restored fairly soon. We are looking at windy conditions tomorrow, which might cause some power outages on their own. We'll talk about that coming up.
Also coming up, chemicals used in everything from non-stick cookware to food packaging. It's causing big problems for the military. In tonight's Spotlight on America, how it could be putting service members at risk.
I did some early shopping this year. One for you, one for me.
From non-stick cookware to food packaging has become a major problem for the military. Josie Sturman has more in this Spotlight on America.
When I retired, I threw away the uniforms, threw away the medals, and I'm done.
Because of your daughter's death?
Yes.
Former military helicopter pilot Jim Holmes's vibrant daughter Kayla died earlier this year after battling an aggressive and rare brain cancer. She was laid to rest just days after her 17th birthday.
Yeah, I just can't think of anything harder than watching your child die.
Kayla's death left many lingering questions for her family, who lived at Florida's Patrick Air Force Base and in nearby military housing for years. The facility, according to Defense Department testing, has an exceptionally high level of toxic chemicals known as PFAS in its groundwater. PFAS chemicals have made their way onto military bases and installations nationwide because of a widely used firefighting foam that contains those toxic chemicals. Studies show they have a link to certain kinds of cancer as well as other health problems.
They spray it on the runway for a training exercise, and then they take hoses and they spray it into the storm drains and into the lagoon.
Use of that PFAS firefighting foam has tainted the water at hundreds of military bases from Florida to California. Spotlight on America looked at DoD records and found some bases with drinking water so badly contaminated with PFAS that wells and sometimes entire water systems had to be taken offline after years of letting service members drink from them. And when it comes to groundwater, our Spotlight team found numerous bases with PFAS contamination levels at hundreds of times the amount considered acceptable by the Environmental Protection Agency.
I recognize that across the nation, folks are scared, they're concerned, and they're not.
Mark Carell understands why. He's now a Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Air Force, but he spent decades living on military bases along with his family. He's now part of a DoD task force created this summer to tackle the PFAS problem.
There can be no doubt, I think, in anyone's mind how important we think this is.
The DoD is now funding a PFAS health impact study and working to develop uniform policies to handle the crisis. Carell says the Air Force has specifically identified places where hazardous foam tainted drinking water and taken drastic steps to protect people from it.
From our perspective, we believe we've leaned forward, at least in the part that's most important, which is make sure no one's drinking water above the health advisory limit, which is where we are today.
But groundwater tainted by PFAS is still a question, and Jim Holmes suspects it played a role in Kayla's death, although there's no known link to the cancer that took her life.
My biggest concern when she was born was something happened to me, and then her having to grow up without a dad. Yeah, I never would have guessed it would have turned the other way.
I'm Josie Sturman for Spotlight on America.
From the Lane Tech Roofing Weather Center, The Good Roofer. Your storm alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mark Rowlett.
Good evening, everyone. Get ready for the winds to crank up by tomorrow afternoon. Wind warnings are in effect for areas north of us. That's mainly between noon and about 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for our area. The big country under a wind advisory for winds picking up to 25 to 35 miles per hour and possibly gusts as high as 45 miles per hour in the afternoon. We have been tracking showers passing mainly off to our south. Occasionally the radar does show something in the Concho Valley, but really I think the measurable rainfall is down here around and even south of Interstate 10. Our weather forecast models are still trying to bring maybe a stray shower across the area, but even if you are lucky enough to get some rain, we're not looking at storms for tonight. We're looking at strong winds tomorrow and then a strong cold front coming in tomorrow night, initially coming through dry. Here's the bigger picture, and we're just seeing some clouds moving across our area with most of the rain down to the south. Our alert tracker goes into the moderate risk range, and that's for tomorrow afternoon because of the strong winds that we expect in our area. Then it gets colder tomorrow night. Here's your forecast for the day. It's going to be a mild day for this time of the year. Now 54 in the morning is a little bit cool, but it's already 70 by lunchtime with southwest winds around 25. Those winds are around 30 tomorrow afternoon with temperatures around 76 and 65 at 7 o'clock. But winds are back to the west, and then they're going to turn to the northwest, and temperatures are going to be in the mid-30s on Wednesday morning. So a strong cold front will move through tomorrow night. Here's our weather forecast model, still trying to paint some showers in our eastern areas, so there's still that outside chance overnight. For tomorrow, here comes that cold front, dry with no precipitation, and we wake up with generally fair skies on Wednesday morning, but again, temperatures in the mid-30s. But here comes some clouds in the afternoon, and we are looking at maybe some rain to finish the day on Wednesday. Most of it's still out to our west. But Wednesday night, here we stop this going into Thanksgiving morning. Showers developing in our area and a pretty good chance of rain to start the day on Thanksgiving Day. That mainly moves out late in the afternoon. May have some dry weather for Thanksgiving night. Temperatures, well, that cold air is going to be diving in tomorrow evening, but ahead of that, temperatures not too bad, 60s and 50s, and it's low 50s in our northern areas, 55 right now in Abilene. And we're looking at a stray shower possible tonight with a low down to about 58. And then tomorrow we're looking at some cloudy, windy conditions in the morning, partly cloudy in the afternoon with a high of 76. In Brownwood, cold and rainy on Wednesday into Thanksgiving Day. Same story for Sweetwater and Snyder. So start looking for that jacket and the raincoat. You'll need the jacket tomorrow night, the raincoat beginning Wednesday afternoon into Thanksgiving Day. But you may be able to get away with wearing just long sleeves by Friday, and then we're looking at dry and cool weekend.
A lot of us having to consider the weather as we head out for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think traveling to the east, not so bad. Northwest, maybe some problems.
All right, thanks, Mark.
All right, Evan's here with a look at sports.
Always looking at Friday because that's when our playoff football games are, including for the Cisco Lobos. They're always in the playoffs, right? Coming up, we look at the Lobos' secret weapon next.
Your sports report from KTexas Sports Director Evan Nemec.
Good evening, Big Country. The high school basketball season is underway. We had the annual Polk Key City Classic this past weekend, and tonight a version of the Crosstown Showdown. The Cooper Lady Cougars and new coach Arsenio Jeter hosting the Abilene High Lady Eagles. Third quarter, Cooper leading. Kiana Kemp drives and hits the soft floater. Lady Cougs like to run this year. Jenica Willis passes up to Kemp, feet behind the arc, and drains the three-pointer. That pushes Cooper's lead up to 23. Abilene High's TK Roberson fires from way downtown and swishes the long-range shot. But this was all Lady Cougs. Their pressure defense gave the Lady Eagles fits. Nice save by Kalia Kemp to her sister Kiana Kemp, and she'll take it in for two. Cooper beats Abilene High tonight 62-37. The ACU men had the halftime lead in San Marcos tonight, but Texas State outscores the Wildcats 24-12 over the last 15 minutes of the game. ACU loses 61-56. San Angelo Central grad Colton Cole came off the bench to score 11 points and grab 7 rebounds for ACU. And the Cisco Lobos are one of just 6 area football teams still left in the high school playoffs. They're also one of those teams that you just know are going to be good pretty much every year. We went looking for the reason why. The Cisco Lobos are in the regional semifinals for the 8th time in Brenton West's tenure as head coach. This team, like many before them, is not flashy. They don't put up big statistics. Instead, the Cisco way is to be tough, physical, and selfless.
We don't have the amazing football player, and they're all doing what they can for their team, and Isaac is just one part of the puzzle.
That's senior Isaac Acosta. He plays a near extinct position in football now, fullback. Little glory, lots of pain, and that's just how Isaac likes it.
It's really great knowing that I can move a guy that's way bigger than me, and knowing that the coaches rely on me a lot to do that.
He's a guy that's going to get beat up every week. He's got to be tough. He's got to be willing to block for his tailback. You are a glorified blocker, and you better have the right mindset or we're going to suffer.
Isaac, like the Lobos, just works at getting the job done. He says he'd rather pave the way for teammate Stanley Callahan than run the football himself. And Isaac's position in particular calls for an unselfish player. What are you most looking forward to for Friday's game?
I'm blocking for Stanley and that. Try to help him get as many touchdowns as he can.
And here's a look at the 6 teams still left. Cooper plays at Denton Ryan. Brownwood facing Argyle and Waco. Cisco plays Canadian in Vernon. Hawley takes on Sundown in Colorado City. Hamlin and Wheeler in Childress. And Blackwell plays Jayton at Borden County. And all of those games are Friday, most of them in the afternoon, so you get your fill of Thanksgiving turkey. You let it settle a little bit, get to sleep in. And
we all do.
Long day of football on Friday.
Head outside. All right.
Thanks, Evan.
And stay with us. Mark has another look at our forecast when we come back.
I love that one.
I love it.
I love it.
It's easy to fall in love.
Windy day tomorrow, so don't spend a lot of time on your hair tomorrow morning. I'm just saying. We're looking at winds around 25 to 35 with gusts maybe as high as 45 in the afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-50s on your way to work and school, and it's windy and warm tomorrow afternoon with highs in the mid to upper 70s. It gets colder tomorrow night.
Bundle up. Thanks for joining us here on KTexas News at 10.
Jimmy Kimmel's coming up. Hope you have a good night.